Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today I wanted to make this little video on why you shouldn't be taking a look at how much time you've really spent on your awakening journey. And this really happens when we are taking a look at other people that are thriving after their awakening, others that have really gotten over the sickness battles on their awakening journey, others who might be stepping into their purpose and really doing well there. And that can really trigger us. And, we can take a look at our own journey and say, oh my gosh, I've spent, 2 years, 3 years, and I don't feel like I'm making any progress. And the truth is you should not be taking a look at time. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to sit here in this video and tell you that, don't worry, time is just an illusion in the 3D, or, God is going to make up for that lost time, because as much as those things are true, we sometimes need very practical, ways to understand what's happening to us. And even though there's a lot happening behind the scenes on your journey, we sometimes just can't see it. So in this video, I kind of wanted to highlight a couple of things that can really shift your perspective on your awakening journey so that you really start to disassociate with time and taking a look at your progress. This is not the same as your career or how you map milestones outside of your awakening journey. So we really need to shift our mindset so we're not using time as an indicator of how we're doing on this journey. Now, the number one reason you want to stop looking at time as an indicator of progress on your awakening journey, or looking at how much time you spent on your journey with regret, is because each delay, each failure, every detour on this journey is usually trying to teach you something. Sometimes we experience the same energy in our life in different form. And by this, I'm talking about somebody coming in over and over. They might be different people, but they're trying to teach us the same lesson. And we keep experiencing it over and over. And sometimes we need to see that almost 4 times, 5 times, maybe 7 times. It's going to vary for everybody before we say, wait, I see the pattern. I see what this is trying to teach me, and I refuse to play my cards the same way because I know how this ends. And, that's when you choose a different course of action and you get through it. It might also be that, you have something that you need to learn on your journey because it's preparing you for what's up ahead. But sometimes in the moment when we are seeing the time, we're seeing the frustration, we are unable to really understand what it is. It's usually only in hindsight that we have, that 2020 vision about what we were really going through in that moment and how it prepared you. Now, I've shared in the past a video on, knowing about your purpose, although I have a couple of those, but really your purpose is usually something that you've been prepared for, in your career, something that you have inherent within you, some things that you're really good at. And sometimes we are missing some elements that we need to grab along the way. And so truly no time is wasted on this journey. We just can't see it in the moment, but we're really being prepared for what's up ahead. Now, if we keep using time as an indicator, think about, if you were going for a mountain climb and you really need some key pieces of equipment that you needed to show up with before you can, climb that mountain. But let's say you forgot to purchase them and showed up for the climb only to realize that you didn't have what was needed in order, to really complete the obstacle, complete that climb. And it would really be a disservice if you had to go back to collect all those materials only to come back again. That might even take you even longer. So really what's key here is to understand that you need to trust the process. Every detour, every delay has its own purpose. And the sooner we just take a look at being in the present moment, taking for what's ahead of us, and really taking it with all that it's worth and all that it's trying to give us, will really help us in the longer run as we go through this journey. So instead of thinking about it in, I've lost time on this journey, or I wonder what's up ahead, focus on the present moment, and that's going to really help you get through this journey with much more ease. Now, a second reason to not focus on time on this journey or focus on what you might have lost with the amount of time that you spent is your level of awareness. Now, this is kind of like reading that same book over and over. And each time you read that favorite book of yours, you get a different insight, different knowledge, and new information that you really, that helps shift your perspective. Now, if we really think about that for a minute, that book has not changed, that author has not changed, the text has not changed. So what has? It is our level of awareness, our particular, ability to receive that text in a different way. And therefore, each time we read it, it brings us new information, which actually already existed, because really, if you think about it, everything already exists within the universe. It's really, are we ready? Are we a vibrational match? Are we receptive enough to receive that information in that moment? And that really determines how we actually progress on this journey. So the key thing to remember here is, instead of looking at, how much time you're spending on the journey, understand that you're growing and evolving, and the right information comes to you at the right time when you are ready to receive it and apply it. And that's how you progress on this journey. Now, the third one I kind of want to talk about is your own cycles, patterns, and habits. Now, it's really easy to take a look at time and blame time and how much time has passed and really take a look at it in a negative and regretful way. However, the truth is, are we willing to really take a look at our own selves and take a look at how we might be hindering or progressing on the journey and helping ourselves along the way? And so here I'm trying to get at things that very clearly you need to shut the door on so that you can progress on your journey. But are you doing it? If you're a twin flame, the overthinking, are you trying to distract yourself, or are you getting swept away or carried away by the fascination of your twin and just sitting there daydreaming about them? Are you taking the action that you need to really detox from that and move towards, what you really need to do for union? You could be a healer that really needs to let go of something so that you can start working towards your own business. Are you taking the steps to do that? And maybe, you need to let go of your old career so that you can really focus on what this journey is asking you, but are you taking the steps to do that? You might have relationships in your life that aren't good for you. You're getting the nudges over and over, but are you taking the steps to close this out? Because really, sometimes what is in front of us and, we're not taking care of it, that will block you from what you need to move forward with on this journey. So are we being truthful with ourselves and taking the necessary action to really help ourselves on this journey instead of just blaming time? Now, this is a minor example, but I want to share this because I think it might help to really put things into perspective, and you might be experiencing something similar. Because one thing that's common on the awakening journey is that a lot of people go through shifts and changes in terms of what we eat. Our body asks us for, different things, but are we paying attention? And if we are we actually responding to the needs of what our body is asking for as we're going through this journey? So that's something to really pay attention to. But for me personally, even before I had my Kundalini awakening, for almost about a year and a half prior to that, I was starting to feel like I needed to let coffee go. But I hung on to coffee for dear life because it wasn't something that I even had all the time. Just barely ever, maybe 3 times a week, a medium cup. And I loved it. I loved the aroma of coffee, and I did not think I could let it go. But it came to a point that my body was feeling really dehydrated from coffee. And I kept ignoring what I was feeling until it got to a point that I could not have that coffee anymore. I then still didn't want to give it up. I shrank that medium cup to a small cup. And then that small cup became a quarter cup, but I wasn't ready to fully let it go. And it took me a really long time, like I'm talking years, to kind of slowly move towards that medium to small to half to quarter, because I just, for somebody who wasn't drinking it daily or multiple times, I thought, what could be so wrong? But the point is that I was not paying attention to what my body was asking for. And why this was so key is because as you're going through your awakening journey, your body is trying to purify and get rid of all the toxins that you need to on this journey, especially if it's related to regulating your nervous system. Now, we all know that coffee really makes us jittery and nervous. And, here we are trying to relax our nervous system, change everything so that we are not experiencing that. Especially if you are very sensitive, that caffeine is going to hurt you. And so ultimately, that coffee led to me also, removing tea out of my daily routine, which was very difficult for me. Nevertheless, I had multiple indicators to know that I needed to shut it out till, it really got to a point where I was getting these messages everywhere to say, let go of the caffeine. And I ultimately had to do that. Now, this is a minor example, but this may be possible for you on your journey, that it's coming up that you need to let go of relationships, certain people, things, habits that you have, but you're not ready to do it. And so we are contributing to our own delay on this journey if we are not listening to those cues, whether they're internal, whether they're nudges or synchronicities that show up. But the key here is to really pay attention and apply those on your journey. So overall, I really hope this message helps to clarify why time is never a good indicator in terms of checking your progress on your awakening journey. Instead of focusing on time, how much time has passed, how much time you've lost, you really need to shift your perspective, because whether it is visible to the eye or not, there is so much happening on this journey that we do not appreciate until time has passed and we learn to apply those lessons and finally understand how our awareness has actually shifted on this journey. So really, take your journey day by day, try and live in that present moment, which you will eventually get to see over time how you've really shifted. When you no longer worry about the past, you're not concerned about what's up ahead, but you're really just able to enjoy the present moment. And I understand not every day is going to be perfect on this journey. There are, as I've mentioned, sickness battles that you might be fighting. There's dark night of the soul, void, all of that, which is really challenging to get through. Nevertheless, there are better days ahead. And the sooner we try to just ride the wave that's in front of us, instead of kind of measuring time, the easier this journey will become. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. God bless.